Welcome to the Puff and Run podcast show, your number one source for news and information about marijuana and running, the latest updates on the 420 cross country team, and races around the nation, and behind the scene details on the Puff and Run TV web series production schedule. Bringing you all and more, here's your host, the Vegas 420 runner.
Welcome. It's the Vegas 420 runner, your favorite podcast host, or at least I like to think I may have a chance at being so in the future. Anyhow, I'm with my special guest co-host, Swizzy. But hey, check it out, guys. Let me bring him up to speed too. Look, this guy right here, he's one of the big influencers in my running and also in my podcast. If it wasn't for this man right here, you know, I have no idea how long it would take for my podcast to come online. So anyhow, I just want to introduce him to you guys. He's going to be helping us go through the recent activities of the 420 cross country team and kind of update you guys on where we're at with Puff and Run. This guy has a behind the scenes look because we're actually friends. So he has a behind the scenes look at some of the work that I do and the things that we go through trying to put together this production schedule.
It could get scary, guys.
Events that gets canceled, budget shortages and things like that. And of course, around all my professional associates, I try to keep my cool. But against with my friends, I feel like I could let my hair down a little bit, and he's probably seen the worst of it.
In the simple terms, I'm going to give you the real deal behind Duval Dorsey and the 420 runner. All right, guys, that's what it's all about. Where you'll be able to ask me questions. I'll tell you facts of things that you might not know, and how this great man and good friend, he's out there doing his thing on a daily basis, trying to make it better. You know, to me, that's an awesome thing. I haven't talked to this guy in a while, so I want to know a little bit more about him, right? So, like I said, my name is Jose Santos. I am Mr. Run2 Improve. I'm out here doing my thing to help and motivate others to do the same, to go out there and do it for themselves so they could lose weight, so they could do anything they want. Not only necessary about that, you know?
Yeah, so now, before we go into everything that we're going to go into on this episode, I want to let you guys know a little bit more about Jose. You may have heard him say something about lose weight or something like that. So let them know a little bit more about like your overall mission, who you are, where you started, and kind of who you are now. Some of the things that I've seen in that trifold, the info from your stuff.
Okay. Well, basically, it was all a dream, and I decided I needed to do it. It all started with like, to me, it was an epiphany. I realized that sometimes we have to go through pain to come out better. And that I had to go through something that was hard for me as far as a breakup. And then that set me into the mode, you know what, I got to change. I'm not going to let this happen again. And then at first it was anger, I would say, you know. So then I changed that. Little by little, it started to be different. It was more about, oh, look what I could do.
But what was different?
My attitude.
And why was it different?
Because I had the confidence of who I was.
And why'd you have the confidence?
Because I was doing it. I was consistent.
You were doing what?
I was watching what I was eating. I started to exercise.
So I want to make sure that the audience picks up on that, what we're talking about right now. As far as weight loss.
And what my mission is.
And what your mission is.
So at that time, I was at my heaviest, I would say, guys. I was at 430 pounds. I needed to definitely lose weight. I say I was walking like a penguin. You know, I wasn't able to run. I was able to walk. You know,
and he, because that was his max, so he always makes sure it was 430. However, the staff over here at Redefine Cannabis and Puff and Run and everything, we like to refer to him as the 420 pound weight loss champion.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. What can I say? That's an honor. And so where was I, guys?
So yeah, you lost. You started to feel better, get more confidence. You had went through that breakup. You had some kind of feelings, emotions, and they were kind of pushing you to do this weight loss. And then once that started working, you saw what you could do. You started to get more confidence and stuff.
Then I started to get more confidence. I got to a certain point where I got down to 250, and I felt great. And I was like, yeah. And then once again, I got in another relationship, and I went through the same transition. I was just stuck in the same routine. And then guess what, guys? I puff up again. And then that's when I was like, I realized it again. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Why am I going through this again? And that's where I was like, okay, this time is going to be for me. Not to show anybody else. Because that moment I realized that I wasn't doing it really for me. I was trying to impress others instead of realizing, hey, impress me, impress yourself. That was the key. So I decided to do that. I created the website, which was called Run4U. Okay,
now so Run for You.
Run for you.
You as
meaning as you individually, you got to run for you. You know. And then I was known as Mr. Run4U. And I continued to do my thing. I started walking a little bit more, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Then I started to run at whatever pace I could. I wasn't trying to be I wasn't trying to be a super athlete. I was just trying to better myself day by day, little by little. And I made sure that every day I was hearing positive things, reading positive articles, reading positive books, watching positive things, keeping away from negative people. And little by little, it stuck. And yes, it's true. Once you do things for 21 days, it does become repetition. So you just got to keep at it, get consistent. And then eventually, the more consistent you are, the less resistance you get. You know? And everything was good. Run4U was going great. Then I had some issues with some legal things with Run4U, where people actually saw that it was kind of flourishing, and they sent me a letter where I'm like, you can't use the name, da-da-da. And that right there kind of, at the time I wasn't ready for that. I was like, okay,
I had no idea about that, man. You never told me that, man.
Yeah, I had some legal issues with that. They're like, you can't use the Run4U as a business because we already have it. And this is an Australian company, you know.
Oh.
Who would have guessed that would have made such a big effect? So I was like, okay. So I turned it into a hashtag, and I decided to rebrand myself, and that's when I became Mr. Run to Improve, and that's when I created Run to Improve. Because once again, it wasn't about Run for You no more. You know, it was Run to Improve, which it was more of a concept that I wanted to bring to everybody, that anybody could do it if you run to improve, or your mentality is to improve.
Right. So now, along that journey, along that way, we bumped heads, we crossed paths at the Xterra
2015
out at Lake Las Vegas. Yes. That's where we met for the first time. You were actually volunteering out there.
Me being me, I wrote an email, sent them information. They said, hey, yeah, we would love to have you out here. Come volunteer, help us out, and then we'll let you race. By this time, it was my second year, actually, no, year and a half into my running thing, as far as doing 5Ks. So I was like, okay, let me go try this out. And this particular one, I felt it was a little harsh. In my head, this was a trail run. Boy, was I wrong. You know, trails run don't compare. This was like a candy cane walk down the park or something like that. But I was out there doing my thing. I remember coming across you at the registration, where you lost your registration paper.
I paid for my registration because the only reason I did that race is because I saw it on Groupon. It was like such and such amount off if you sign up now. It was like the day or two before.
I have the paperwork here, guys. Let's see if this is true. I have the verdict that says he paid or not. Dun, dun, dun. April 14, 2015. Duval Dorsey. He did pay.
I paid, and so when I got there, I had a difficulty getting my bib. I went there the night early for packet pickup. I was having I couldn't get my confirmation number or something like that.
Right.
And I was like, I hope these people at the desk understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I went and I had recently just got some of my I was trying to remember, and I had my 420 gear on the next day at the race. So I wanted to wear that, my hat and my shirt, and that's my main picture when I'm on the podium with those other guys, and that was my main picture in the video and the other stuff I use. And so I was like, I knew I was gonna do good at that race, and so I was like, I got to get in this race, and they don't have my confirmation number, and I actually literally paid because the money is off my credit card now, and so then.
That's where I came in. I was like, come here, let me help you out. Let's see what's going on. I was able to find his information, and I took care of it. We registered him. I finished with the registration with him, and then they took off. And that was that, you know.
Yeah.
But at that time, he didn't have his gear, so I didn't really know he was the 420 runner.
Right.
You know. So the second day came along, or actually before that, he came back because he needed another shirt, and I was like, here. So I gave him a shirt, and that was that, you know. And that was the first time me and him kind of crossed paths.
Yeah, and so then the next day I seen him. I was out there running. He was doing his thing, and I was coming up from behind because I was in the half marathon, and I seen him running, chugging along and everything. I was like, man, this guy is out here doing it. I didn't recognize at that time. I didn't really recognize it was you from the registration.
Right.
I thought, hey, there's a big dude out here. He's out here on the trail. He's trying to do whatever.
Guys, I was that big. I was noticeable.
And so he was trucking, and so I was like, all right. And I ran past him.
Man, that hill got me.
I gave him a pat on the back, just like pat. You know, even if it was a stranger or whatever, I just thought, hey, I think I did that. Yeah. I gave him a pat on the back, like, hey, keep it up, man. And then I had my hat on backwards. A lot of you know I like to wear my hat backwards when I race.
And that's when I saw a 420 runner.
Yeah, and then he was like, 420 runner, and I was like, in my head, because I was still racing, I had these guys I had to catch, and so I didn't look back to see who it was, and I was like, that guy recognized me, or what was that? Or wait, he saw my hat backwards, and I was trying to figure out exactly how you figured that out and everything.
Right. And you guys are probably thinking by now, you're like, so he likes the 420 runner, right? And he was you're supporting, so.
This is a good time for a commercial break right here. We're gonna cut to commercial, and we'll be right back.
Attention medical marijuana patients. Do you know what your cannabis actually contains? Are there heavy metals, pesticides, or even mold? And what strength is it really? And is it really what you need? Well, the answers to these questions are simple. DigiPath Labs. DigiPath Labs is a Nevada state-approved medical marijuana testing facility whose scientists carefully test products for safety and potency, all within the state's rigorous mandate. You can buy with confidence and trust knowing DigiPath Labs has tested your medicine. If you're a licensed grower, dispenser, extractor, or edibles manufacturer in Nevada and want unparalleled customer service and consumer confidence, go to digipathlabs.com and find out what we can do for you. And as a patient, only go to dispensaries that carry the DigiPath Labs seal of approval. That's digipathlabs.com, DIGIPATH labs.com, or call us at 702-209-2429. That's 702-209-2429.
And welcome back. We're back from that commercial break, and I hope you guys got a good feel for who we are and stuff, how we linked up and stuff.
A good glimpse, right?
Just a little glimpse. And so, just to wrap that story up, basically, after we met for that first time, I kept seeing him every morning at like about 3 or 4 a.m. Every morning, every single morning, and he would just do a video. He just got finished working out. It's 3:30 a.m. He's done with his run, and he's ready to start his day and stuff. And I was like, and that was every day. Even though
that was my longest streak. I did that for 2.5 years, like nonstop.
It might have been like 2, 3, 4 miles, but it was every day. Like before I even got up, he was already done with his workout, and I was like, man, this guy is very motivating, you know. And so I would click his videos and watch it, and I was like, I'm gonna team up with this guy. We gotta link up, and
he sent me an Instagram, and I was like, hey, all right, cool.
Oh, we had picture together from the Xterra.
From the
Xterra. We had a picture together from the Xterra. You guys can find that on at least on my Instagram, I think. No. It's somewhere. It's on Facebook or something.
It's on Facebook.
We'll post a link to the photo under this video, hopefully.
Yeah, and if not, you look me up and it'll be on their mind.
Yeah.
Mr. Run to Improve. Or the Vegas 420 Runner, we'll put it on there just so you can see I was chunky still. And luckily, this is funny though. To me, I don't feel any different, but people tell me I'm different, that I look different. But I'm thankful that the way I feel that I'm losing weight, I feel like I'm shrinking from the outside in. That's how I feel that I'm losing weight. I'm not losing weight from the belly in, or from the ass in, or from the arms in. It's just a complete sponge effect. Like, that's how I feel that I'm losing weight. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I still feel big. But only my fans, my supporters know if that's... I give it my all. Like you were saying, man, I was there grinding for 2.5 years, and I still do it. To this day, I'm still doing it. But now, as I became more savvy into running, I learned that, hey, that's not always good, especially for me being a bigger runner. I have to make sure that I take certain precautions so I don't hurt myself. Because why? Because I want to keep running. I fell in love with running. Running is what gives me that peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's helped me continue to do what I do. And that's why I believe me and Duval here, we linked up, because we had the same path. In that sense, where we love running, we want to use running to motivate others to do things that are positive. As for me, I want to motivate people to do things that are going to go out there when it comes to weight loss, to put themselves in a better state of mind, to live the healthy lifestyle. And as for Duval, he wants to destigmatize cannabis in the sense that people think, oh, they're lazy stoners. No, I know personally doctors, lawyers, nurses that they partake and they're still living a functional life. And what he's doing is for the runners, which help them in the sense that, hey, my muscles are hurting. Because when you run out there, trust me, it hurts. After I ran my half marathon, oh my God, those cramps and pains, it's no joke. I have purple spots in my thighs from all the cramps from the massages, where I gotta squeeze that muscle because everything is tightened, and if I don't squeeze it, it's gonna keep squeezing and it's hurting. Duval knows this.
Yeah.
He's the 50 miler, 100K.
I wish. I'm trying to work my way up to 100K. Now, with that being said, yes, we both have these messages that we're bringing out there and that we're trying to raise awareness in these different communities that we're trying to reach and stuff. But one of the other connections that we have is that we're both trying to acquire sponsors for our races and for our gear and for our efforts and for our ideas and for our goals and stuff like that. Yeah. And so with those sponsors comes different dollar amounts that we're trying to reach and stuff like that. And because we're both on that path and both on that same journey, I feel like that's another reason why we made a connection. And so being that we got cool like that, I decided to feature him as the star of one of my short documentary films called one place is called the 420-pound weight loss champion. The other place is called
the overweight my journey.
Yeah, my journey. And so anyways, the video's
you can watch that video on YouTube, by the way.
It's got thousands of views.
I did. I have like maybe 1.5K. Yeah. I think views, which is not bad. I mean, I'm grateful.
I like it, man.
I'm grateful that people were actually able to see it and check it out. And you did a good job, man.
It was for a school project. We had certain guidelines we had to stick to as far as how long it could be and certain criteria that they wanted to make, and we had a lot of good footage. I was also under a deadline with the thing, and This is the trailer for the feature film.
Right.
You know, this is what you see in this video.
It is a trailer, yeah.
This is a trailer.
That is a trailer.
To the
I never
feature
thought about
film.
it like
You
that.
know what I'm saying? So this is.
So out there, I'm looking for a producer who wants to produce the story, the Run to Improve story.
And we already have all the footage, and we got so much.
I'm looking for actors that look like us too.
Yeah, we got a side project where we're gonna have actors play us as ourselves, and that's a whole nother episode. And so now from there, I made the documentary with him. And then, long story short, yada, 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 a lot of racism running in between. Next thing I know, he's telling me about the podcast. And I'm stuck on my web series, the Puff and Run TV web series. And I'm talking about.
I'm over here progressing. Well, yada, 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 he's kind of skipped a few things.
Yeah.
It was just funny because at the same time, we both have different things we're doing, right? So we both went our separate ways at some points and others. But guess what? We always ended up being where we needed. I was at a race, he was there. I was doing photos, he was there. So it would always mingle. So it just made sense, you know. Friends and business partners. In a weird way, we do get along with it. You know, some people can't co-work or be friends and work together. It's just too much of a headbutt. But hey, we both make it work, and here we are. And yeah, so I was looking into podcasting, and I started doing mine, and I decided to create one just so I could be able to spread the message a little bit more. I wish I would have done podcasting when it came out. You know, it was back in the early '90s when the first iTunes came out on your iPod. You know, you're like, hey, and that's when people really got into it. And I remember, to me, the biggest one that I remember, Howard Stern. You know how big that guy got, and that was through that. And then eventually he went into radio and live TV and so forth. So I wanted to be able to reach that. And so I started looking into it, getting into it. I got accepted to iTunes, to Google Play Music, so you could just search Run to Improve iPod, and there it comes up, guys. I have like 4 episodes on there so far. I'm actually behind a couple episodes, but
I know what that's like, man.
It's a hard thing because I'm out there running. I got to work my 9 to 5. I got to come home and take care of my pup. You know, I got a little dog. And I got to be a good boyfriend, you know, and I got to be a good brother, and I got to do a lot of things, but I manage it, and I'm able to handle it, you know, handle the routine, and I'm still going out there 4 a.m. You know, you just got to be able to tell yourself, when I die, I'll rest. You know, for right now, I got to work. Because who knows, maybe that's the whole point of being here. We got to see how much we're willing to put ourselves through to make it to the end. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I feel, you know. But
so basically, after I realized that I didn't have enough time and staff to film the reality TV web series, the Puff and Run show,
right.
I started thinking, how can I still make this effective and communicate with my audience, because they don't want to read all the time. We're in a bunch of magazine articles, and we put a bunch of posts on podcasts, and I don't just want to do vlogs because, you know, I don't know, I don't want to just always do video. Sometimes it's easier to just pull out the mic and start going.
Right.
And so I thought, shit, I need to do podcasts. And so that's when I hit you up. I said, hey, you know, I know it's weird that he just said something about podcasts. Now I think I'm going to do a podcast, and the podcast could probably maybe help to fund and finance the reality show, especially once we start traveling all over and stuff.
Right. And right now we're fine-tuning it. We're learning as a progress. So I'm sharing back and forth. He's sharing what he knows. And that's how we got to do it, guys. You got to, if you know something, share with your fellow man.
So you guys probably noticed that the audio on this may be like a zillion times better than the previous 6 or so episodes, because we were using a mic in those, but it's not maybe meant to be held close to the face, or it doesn't have a mic shield on it, and so sometimes maybe there's feedback or something. I'm not sure, because I haven't even heard those episodes yet. They haven't been uploaded at the time of this recording, but we're really diligently working to get all this stuff together. We're gonna put a hot intro together, hopefully this weekend or sometime.
No, this weekend will definitely be. It's gonna be happening this year.
And the only reason that it's probably not already the intro, I'm trying, because I'm gonna have my my homeboy help me hook it up and stuff. The only thing, I had all his mics he loaned me for the podcast to try to get the best audio sound for you guys.
Right.
So I had all the mics, so he couldn't really work on it, without the mics and stuff. And as you guys may know, if you follow on social media, I've been traveling for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Portland, Oregon,
you've been a busy guy, man.
LA, Santa Monica, Zion, Utah. Yeah, man, all that shit.
You'll tell me more about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
But yeah, like he was saying, so I wasn't able to help him out because I was like, here you go, try this out, make it work. And of course, you got to learn. It's a learning curve. So now we're here. He's like, hey, you know what? I have a better idea. We're gonna bring you to the podcast. You're gonna be one of our recurring guests. And I told him, co-host. I was like, right on. I'm honored to be there. I'm honored to talk to your guests and be part of what you're doing and interviewing the athlete runners that I enjoy and I want to be like. I'll be able to pick their brains. So yeah. I'm glad to be here, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I feel it brings a really good balance. So, this is one of my key supporters. So from the running to the running side of things to the running sponsorship and recruiting sponsors and stuff like that, and communicating with the audience side of things,
right,
to the podcasting side of things, Mr. Run to Improve, very motivational, and I thought he could help bring out some of the behind the scenes stuff that I might overlook, or have a different insight because he's in the same space, that being the running space. He's operating in that same space.
Right.
So that is a little bit on basically how we got together and everything like that. This would be a good time to cut to another
commercial break.
Yeah, another little break. We're going to hear a message from one of our sponsors, and we'll be back.
Hi, I'm with Jim McAlpine, and he is the founder of the 420 Games. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how are you doing, Janelle?
I'm doing great. So tell our viewers, what is the 420 Games?
So the 420 Games are athletic events to destigmatize healthy and responsible cannabis use.
All right, so what inspired you for that?
Well, as marijuana looks to become legal here or be on the ballot in 2016, I wanted to set up events that would set standards and ethics for the way that it's brought into our culture.
All right, so you have an event coming up. Tell our viewers, what's that?
It is the 420 Games Run. It's a 4.20 mile run through the park.
Very family friendly?
Very much so. No smoking at the event.
Nice.
My 6-year-old runs, and it's a fun run walk, so anyone can do it.
All right, sounds great. For more information, all you have to do is go to the website 420games.org. Jim, great information. Thank you.
But we're back. We're ready to talk a little bit more about Duval now. As you heard a little bit about us, now it's time to hear more about him. I wanna see what he's been up to. It's been about a year since I've seen him and actually got able to hang out. And he's like, "Hey, come over." I'm like, "Okay, let me come down there." And next thing you know, we're here doing the podcast now, guys. So Duval, what you been up to? What you been doing?
Well, it's been quite a wild ride. So now I'm gonna try to run things down up until the launch of the website. I'm gonna briefly go over kind of what happened before the website launched, starting in 2017 when we were planning all of this.
Right, back in February, right?
Yeah, that was the first race.
Your first race.
That was exactly right. That was the first race. We had 2 races in February.
I believe it was you. And you had a feature runner, right?
Yep. So the first race, okay, if you remember, was the Ultra Jackpot Beyond Limits Ultra
the 50
Jackpot 50 mile.
Yes, sir. 50 I was out there, guys. Yep. That was an awesome event, by the way.
Yeah, we rode out there together. He was out there the whole time, and he gave me a ride home, man. So I really appreciate that.
From beginning. Or from start to finish.
He was there for 12 hours, man. Now that is a dedicated supporter.
Heck yeah, man.
And I know he played a lot of... You did the photography thing. You hired people to show up and take pictures and stuff.
Yes, I did. Hey, I needed some help. I needed to make sure that I capture these moments for these people. Because it's amazing seeing that. I mean, I seen your videos and I seen you jog, but I haven't seen you run until that day when he was out there putting in his work, grinding, and I'm over here in the bike. He's like, move it, Duval. It's 11 o'clock.
Right. Yeah, I had a deadline to make.
And he was like, hey, I gotta make it. And the funny part is, he's like, I'm like, what time are you gonna finish? I'll finish at 8 o'clock. I remember this. It was just He's like, at 8 o'clock. I said, 8 o'clock? Because I need to make sure so I could get us a ride. He's like, yeah, 8 o'clock. All right, so I said, hey, come here at 8 o'clock. So guess what? 7:59 gets us pulling up to the finish line. Mr. Duvizzi. And he's like, 8 o'clock. I was like, what? That's when I was even more of a believer, you know. And that was that. That was good stuff, man. You put it out there.
Yeah, man.
And it was raining, too. It was pouring. Like, Vegas raining? Come on. But for 3 days it did. Especially in that little pond that we were at.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
Yeah, it was really intense. And it was a different kind of race. It was almost like a loop, almost basically a 2.5 mile type of loop type deal they had set up there.
Yeah, with the in and out.
So it's really a good training run, especially for somebody who's never done an ultra marathon. They can go sign up for a 12-hour or a 24-hour run and really get the feel for their body, but still have plenty of access to food, liquids, first aid, a lot of support. People are there. A lot of people are all around you all the time and stuff.
Yep. So you're able to really go out there without no worries. And
right.
I'm getting ready. I'm gonna do one of these. I want to be Mr. Ultra.
Yeah.
Mr. Run to Improve Ultra. That's like my Power Ranger morphin.
So now that I did that, I feel comfortable doing a 50 mile out in the desert trail or whatever, and I feel ready to take it to the next level. I'll tell you guys about that in a second. That was the first run,
right.
And if you remember, I had the 420 cross country gear ready to go, the hat and shirt.
Yeah, it was gonna be the special debut.
But the rain was so rainy, and on that path that we ran, there was like a little mud section.
Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying?
It just ruined everything.
And nobody was paying attention because you had to wear a poncho half the time, and so I just didn't wear it for that race. I kept it put up. I wanted to keep it nice and dry and safe.
Right, it was nice and crispy and clean.
So that was the first one. Secondly.
I believe it was Trail Trash?
No. That's my second one, yes.
Yeah.
That's my second one. But for the team, though. For the team, we had Blood, Sweat, and Beers.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. Our first female runner ever of the team. Now we have like a 2 or 3, I think. But our first female runner ever of the team.
Okay.
She competed in the Blood, Sweat, and Beer. She did the Dirty Double. This is a Desert Dash race in Las Vegas.
Nice. I love Desert Dash, by the way. Great running company.
She did the Dirty Double. Dirty Double means you do a race in the daytime and the race in the nighttime. And her daytime race was a half marathon. Her nighttime race was a marathon, full marathon. Whew. Daytime race, she got like, I think 15th or 16th overall or something. She was like top 5 women's or something like that. In the nighttime race, she got first in the women's, second overall. You know what I'm saying? She went straight beast mode in the nighttime. Whoa. And
I believe she placed first, no?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so so basically during that trip, I believe it was, or during that whole thing when she was down here for that, she was out running, and I guess she was talking about Cannabis or something. Somebody told her, the Vegas 420 runner, link up with him. And so that's how, anyway, I ended up linking up with her.
Gotcha.
She was out running. Somebody told her about me. Then we contacted each other on social media.
Nice.
And then from there,
she reached out to you.
Yeah, she reached out to me.
Nice.
And so then from there,
it's always good, guys.
Next thing you know, I had a race coming up in Portland, but I won't get to that just yet.
Okay.
Because that's where she's at, the Portland 420 runner, aka the PDX 420 runner.
Nice.
Anyhow, Simon, what up? Anyhow, so my next race was Trail Trashed.
Right, with Triple Dare.
Yeah. So I went out to the Trail Trashed race. I had already been contacted by somebody from Outdoor Adventure Sport magazine.
Okay.
They wanted to do an article on me.
Nice.
And then I can't remember how we figured out we were both doing the Trail Trash race. I think she might have saw it on my schedule.
Right.
She said, the writer, she said she's doing the Trail Trash race too. I said, keep an eye out for me. And anyways, we ended up meeting after the race, and we took a picture together. That photo ended up coming out in the print version of the magazine.
Nice.
Yeah, so initially it was just going to be like a small snippet in the magazine with the larger body of the entire interview online.
Right.
But once her and I began working together, when she took it to people, the decision makers or whatever, they're like, this is fire, this is hot, put it in the magazine. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So now if you guys go, you can see
Special
the link
debut?
to that.
Yep,
You
that's
know?
nice.
And that was important because it was the very first time ever non-cannabis themed magazine coverage.
Nice.
First time ever non-cannabis themed magazine coverage.
Awesome. That's nice. That's nice. What was it called again?
Outdoor Adventure Sport.
Outdoor Adventure Sports, guys. Go check that out. He put a link on his website, on his Facebook page.
It should be on the 420crosscountry.org website by the time this podcast gets released.
There you go. So that's where you got to go. That's where you got to read him. So, okay.
And so, yeah, that was the trail trashed. And but before and in between around there, Champs came up. We went to Champs. We filmed some footage at Champs. Champs is a international cannabis trade show here in Las Vegas.
Nice.
It comes to Las Vegas twice a year.
Okay.
So, meanwhile, we got to keep in mind, all of these events are episode 1 of the reality show.
Right.
You know, episode 2 of the reality show. This is all before I even decided to do a podcast.
So
you know,
did those episodes get
those
recorded?
episodes are in post production. I have the video. I'm because of school and everything else. I don't have the time to sit down and edit these together. I had to file my taxes, and I have to run, I have to train, I have to travel. I just don't have time. And
See,
stuff.
guys, we juggle everything.
So yeah, I try to keep off of that. I try to just stay on my grind. So basically, with Champs, it was a lot of trade show stuff. Just I go there every year, you know. So it's
Right on.
It's no big deal to me because I go there all the time. But if you've never been there, it is a must see the Champs Trade Show in Las Vegas. And then from there, let's see. The High Times Cannabis Cup. We went to the High Times Cannabis Cup. Unfortunately, I didn't get. I don't think I got that much footage from there, but we did get some footage, and we were blazing, and everything was all good. They tried to use the scare tactics and make everybody afraid to go there,
Right.
You know, and but we weren't afraid. You know, I brought my medicine, and we blazed big time the entire time. People were dabbing, and we were rolling up, and it was all good. That is the High Times Cannabis Cup, and now from there. Now here is kind of, let me just double check. I think basically for the most part, I just been doing school and stuff. I got an internship.
Nice. Handling business, getting...
So basically from there, it kind of brings us up to next thing you know, we link up. I start to get the idea about the podcast show.
Right.
And we want to do all that stuff. And anyways, if you remember, I had a very elaborate...
He had a schedule, guys, that was like 3 pages long. And he's like, I'm going to do this on this day, on this day. Don't get me wrong. I'm organized. He's organized. He's good at doing his thing. But like I said, we do a lot because we're a one-man show.
Yeah.
You know, we got to do everything from editing to making sure we put our things, our videos, I'm starting doing podcasts. I'm also behind. You know, I'm behind like 6 episodes. But
now I don't think we mentioned this earlier. I'm not sure. I was the first guest on your
podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm the first guest on this podcast.
Yep,
so
that's actually a pretty good interview too.
Once that episode came out, I clicked it, I played it, I loved it. It was, you know, because we talked a little bit more, but you trimmed it down to all the good stuff, and it was just a concise, because we talked for maybe an hour, but you trimmed it to maybe 30 minutes or something.
Yep.
So it was really concisely done, really, and I was like, man, this is great. And that's when I started thinking, like, man, maybe I need to, you know, helping me decide to do this.
And that's when I was like, okay, I love this, but that's when I realized it does take time.
Right, and he was trying to tell me that because I was trying to figure out which hosting site should I use.
Right.
Right now I don't.
He doesn't have one.
I do. I have Lisbon.
Oh, Lisbon.
You know what I'm saying? I pay for it already.
He uses that. I use Buzzsprout.
If we don't get paid for them,
No.
not yet. They haven't offered us any free things or anything like that. But we're just telling you, I can't even explain why I picked them because it was a very difficult process who to choose. There's no obvious answer. I definitely didn't want to pick certain ones, but then there's other ones that, you know, they all seem kind of the same. And I just kind of looked at some of the podcasts I already I thought were cool or whatever. And so, anyways, I ended up with Lisbon.
Right.
I made this elaborate schedule. Sway came over, Swizzy, Mr. Run2Improve came over, gave me basically all his microphones so I could like test out different things because I have an audio recorder. And if you guys notice, I think
audio is different.
Yeah, the audio is different. This is actually episode. This is actually episode. All the previous episodes are the pilot episodes. This is basically the Run2Improve podcast 2.0, so to speak. Okay, episode 7, we're already at 2.0.
Right.
So anyhow, so I got all these mics, but I was testing them out with my old recorder because I didn't have space because this one phone is my whole production for my traveling, camera, video, everything, and it barely has any memory or whatever. I have 2 phones that I use, iPhone 5 and this Samsung something or other, and they don't have that much memory and stuff, and I'm trying to like expand because I was anchored to the equipment from my college for the past 5 years or whatever.
Right.
And as soon as I graduated and I switched to a new school, it's a process getting access to all their equipment, but they are offering it to me and stuff now at this point or whatever.
Oh, that's good. Well,
especially for podcasting.
Nice.
They might want me to do a big podcast this summer, but there's more details on that coming soon.
Nice.
Anyways, so then I started to get the big idea how to we're just about to cut to commercial, but I'm just trying to figure this last time.
How to improve it?
No, how to launch it. Basically, how to launch it. I'm talking to you. I'm working with you.
Right.
I'm looking which hosting site I want to use. I'm getting all the microphones. I got my recording devices. I even start recording multiple episodes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I even have an elaborate plan for like my first 20 that are all going to be recorded by Monday and blah, 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 blah. If you remember all that.
I remember that.
I was going to go on.
He was going to do this Superman style. And I was like,
yeah. It's like a podcasting recording marathon, you know? It was like a 6-hour fucking
6-hour tour
non-stop podcast. So because I wanted it to all coincide with the 420 games event and everything like that, because I thought this would be a huge way to launch my platform with several episodes already released, and then release it daily for 1 week and then go to the weekly schedule.
Right.
And so I wanted to do all that, and now it's time for me to go to Portland with all your microphones, and then
go get business done.
and we're gonna tell you. And now we're gonna cut to commercial, and after we come back, we'll start from Portland, basically where everything kind of jumps off and the podcasting starts. So,
and it's a pretty wild story, guys.
So this
definitely
is
gotta hear this.
All right, we're cutting to commercial. I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. This is the 2.0, an hour-long show for the viewers, recording live from Las Vegas. All right, we're off to the commercial. We'll be back in just a minute.
Getting Legal offers an informative and simple way for you to get your marijuana card. Why come to Getting Legal to get your marijuana card? We have a 99% approval rating and the lowest price in town. Avoid legal problems. Getting Legal can get you legal fast. Ready for a new start? Come in now and get relief from your chronic conditions affecting your quality of life. Call Getting Legal today at 702-979-9999. That's 702-979-9999. Or visit our website at gettinglegal.com to get your marijuana card today.
All right, guys, welcome back. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, I hope you guys got a really great idea who Sway is. I call him Sway, I call him Swizzy, and nickname or whatever. But he's gonna probably be hopefully coming around to several more future episodes just to kind of help keep me on track. And you guys know how I like to rant if you guys listen to all the
Podcasts.
the pilot episodes up until now,
But he's doing his thing. We're both out here learning and trying to put our experience to put it out there for you guys, so that way you guys could hopefully take something from it, and it hopefully helps you. That's the main idea of what we're doing. We want to share our messages and put it out there. And like you said, I'm going to be out here helping them out, and I appreciate it for being here.
Yeah. So now that I got all the tools for the podcast, as we were saying before the commercial break, I got all the tools. I got the hosting. I got the mics. I got the ideas. I got the episodes laid out. Whatever. I try to start pulling it off. I go out and I go to Portland. I head up to Portland for the SSDP annual conference. I'm doing this annual conference. And so I scheduled a race during the conference that Saturday morning. This is like on March 25th. And I'm up there with Simon from the cross country team. We have been in communications. I tell her about the race. She's like, let's do it. She's totally down. So we go up there. You guys can see the photos and videos on social media, the 420 cross country social media. And we do those races. Her and I, we both get first place for age group first places. And we smoked it. We were blazing trails, and it was all good. That was our first big team effort. Because usually in 420 cross country is just one team member running the race competing against everybody else.
Right on.
And so this time we got to team up. We got to take home 2 first place medals. That was sweet.
Right on. Yeah.
That was sweet. So we got to kick it then. And then this was the thing though. It's going to be hard to cover this little segment in just 15 minutes, but we can see if we can get it done. But I do got to say this.
What's that?
Before I went up there to race in the Vortex Half Marathon, I've been watching Portland Trail running on YouTube for at least a year, about 2 years or something like that, Portland Trail running. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And
Nice.
I tell you, when I went up there, it's everything I imagined it would be. It was even more than I'd ever dreamed it would be. There was ferns and moss and just green, lush everywhere. And but there's also definitely mud puddles and a lot of mud and water to run through. And it was
keep your socks dry.
so the funny thing was because I was traveling light.
You didn't have no socks.
I only brought 1 pair of shoes for this conference,
So he ended up running with the same shoes and then going to the conference. So he was all suited up with muddy shoes.
Basically.
What, for real?
Yeah, basically
Oh,
that's
snap.
how, because I only had that 1 pair. Now at the end, I could have sprayed off all the mud, but they were still soaking wet. And I was like, you know what? I'm leaving this mud on because, this is kind of like...
That was your badge of courage.
Yeah, that was like my badge of courage. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave the mud on then because they're already going to be wet, you know?
Right.
And so I left the mud on there and then I, got, fly and everything and went back to the conference and everything. Went right back to it. So that was amazing. I did get on a podcast up there with Doug McVeigh. And
Nice.
I think it's... I don't want to say the wrong podcast show, but it should be on the 420 Cross Country site by the time this video comes out also. 420 Cross Country, you'll see it on there. On our
Definitely check
media
that
coverage.
out, guys.
So there's that. And then, so now I'm still running around with your equipment. I didn't get to make the first episode yet, And
So he was trying to still recording, but nothing.
it didn't work out yet.
Okay.
I was supposed to go back over to Simon's place after the race and do a podcast episode after the conference,
Right.
but I had my ride over there I was gonna sober up in a certain amount of time, and that never actually happened. So we decided not to go over there and stuff. So I never went back to her place after the race, and that's when we were gonna record the podcast. So that one didn't happen. I came back to Vegas. And next thing you know, I got to get ready to go to school that week, and then I got to go to the 420 games in LA that weekend, next weekend.
Actually, I was trying to make it out there myself with him. We had plans to go out there, man. I had the car rental ready. We were going to cruise out there. We had the hotel set up and everything, but things happened. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come through. But he was able to go out there and represent.
Yeah, and thank God they didn't come through because it was a blessing in disguise, man.
Right on.
When Sway broke the news to me, because this is my career in my life, and 420 games is a huge deal to me, just like maybe the Super Bowl is to an NFL player. You know what I'm saying? This is for me.
That was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is like the Super Bowl not for the audience. I'm talking about for the NFL player, how he thinks about the Super Bowl. When I think about the 420 games, it's like, this is my creme de la creme. So yeah, so we had these plans going out there. Initially, I was going to get the plane ticket, and then, I thought we might take a car and everything, but once plans changed, I was like, damn, because things changed so quickly and the hotel and everything. I was like, damn. But now the way that it works out, the way the universe works out, and the way that I know that this is how it's supposed to be, is the team, the 420 Games team, ended up inviting me to roll with them. You know, they rented a house out there for the weekend. You know, they said, Duval, you're the 420 runner. We got you covered. Don't worry about a thing. All you got to do is get here and everything is taken care of. You know what I'm saying? I showed up, you know, I felt like they rolled out the red carpet. You know, they made me feel, I hadn't met any of these people before.
Right on.
But they're really all pulling together for this team. And I imagined it, you know, to be like a massive team.
Right.
You know, because of the scope and size of the event. But really, it's just a small core group of people. You know, they're really nice, really cool. You know what I'm saying? We could use some more ladies on the team, you know. but all these guys are really cool. And everything went phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? We had a dope ass crib. You could see on the video, you know, you can see on the video where the crib was at, you know, and we're blazing on the roof and stuff like that. That's on the video too. See, that's why this web series has to come out and stuff like that.
Yeah, like this is on new to me. I'm trying to picture. I'm like, where is it? I'm trying to search, but
yeah, it's not out yet. So
he still has it in his pocket.
Yeah,
come on, you gotta help me unlock it.
Yeah, so we're trying to get that out, and this is all supposed to be like. Now I think 420 Games was supposed to actually be episode 2 and have an episode to itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, and so but no, the people that I met there, we all like, you know, clicked and stuff like that. But this is the thing, don't get it twisted. It was also grinding and stuff like that, and we were up and out there, you know. 4:30 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Getting shit set up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But also I had a job as the Vegas 420 runner that I had to do. Everybody had certain.
I saw those interviews.
Everybody had certain positions that they did and whatnot.
Yep. He actually woke up and said, "I'm quit smoking weed," and I was like, "What?" I believed him. I forgot it was April Fool's. Or something like that.
Yeah, it's April Fool's Day, and every year I like to...
Was it April Fool's Day?
Yeah, it's April Fool's
Day.
Oh,
yeah. It was
April 1st. April 1st.
Yeah. So I was like, what the heck? And I was like, what happened to him? And I was like, nope, he got me. So yeah, good one.
Yeah, so that went down. I got to, you know, talk to them about the future of how all this stuff is going down in the future, and you know, I'm planning to buy my ticket to Seattle for May 28th, and Portland, be back again in Portland for June 10th for the 420 Games, and you know, all that stuff. So I went to the dispensaries out there. You got to remember, in Oregon, when I was up in Portland, Oregon, and when I was in Cali, I'm going to the dispensaries and checking them out and surveying them, comparing them to Las Vegas, which we'll get into in a future episode. But
keep your game up, dispensaries.
Yeah, step your dispensary game up. You know what I'm saying? Vegas got this on lock. But anyhow, so that was the 420 Games. I bought a bunch of bud. This is a new bit of information. I up until now, see what I've been having a problem. Everywhere I go, I buy too much bud, and then when I go to the airport, I have to give it away to somebody or whatever.
That's actually part of his subconsciously donating to his supporters, to his fans.
Right. Well, that, my friend, those days are over. Because now, because I just, for the first time, I started talking to everybody about, you know, that challenge I was having about having to always give it away, and they're showing me how to take it on the airplane and stuff like that. So now I was able to take some flour for the first time. And not, I've done it before accidentally, you know, sometimes you accidentally take something, but this was intentionally for the first time. Take some flour, go to the airport. I'm going from one legal state to another legal state, you know what I mean? I had some other stuff like the microphones, and I had a glass blunt or whatever, and they really hit the radar, and they had to check that and wipe down the microphones to see if there's any like bomb powder on it or something, but they didn't care about the weed at all, you know? So that was cool, and so now that's another cool thing that I learned from the LA trip.
Nice. So you're always learning something on these trips.
Yeah, so now from the LA trip,
you came back. You were here for what?
And there's a ton of live stream footage on the 420 Games thing. We're gonna try to clip it together and make a full episode.
Nice. I want to see that footage, man. I want to see those videos.
For sure.
Definitely.
And so that's the 420 Games. Now I come back, and like I said, I'm only here for a few freaking days. I'm barely even here because If you guys remember, we got Beginner's Luck.
Right.
Beginner's Luck is a trail race out here. I ramped up the whole team to do this trail run. It's a 5K. I told because we got a bunch of beginners on the Vegas team. Okay, you got to understand, with 420 cross country, there's different cities have different teams. Right now, there's only 2 city teams: Vegas team and the Portland team, or the PDX team. Right. Portland and PDX is kind of the same thing. And so the Vegas runners, they are young, or not young, but they're unique. They're young in their running days. You know what I'm saying? They are new to the game. They're still
newbies.
Yeah, they're 5Ks, and I thought putting them on a 5K on the trail is going to push them to their limits.
Right.
And so I recruited all these.
I remember that. That's no joke, guys. A 5K trail, that's no joke.
So I recruited all these new runners to do this 5K on the trail. And then as I'm sending, and they all agreed. And then as I'm sending out the email, I realized, and I go in for all the details, and I go to the website, I realized that the smallest distance is 5 miles, not 5K.
Right.
You know, and I know they're not really ready to take it to that level. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I let them know what time it is, and they decide they want to go to a different race, April 22nd. Hopefully, we're going to all do the purple run.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be a lot cool. That's going to be cool as well. And so we did have one member run out at Beginner's Luck, known as Mountain High Adventures. I want to give a shout out and salute to Mountain High Adventures, and we're waiting on a blog from them. But anyways, so once I noticed that the whole entire team basically decided not to do Beginner's Luck because it's too difficult to do 5 miles on the trail for these new runners, I said, you know what? My teammate Simon is doing her 100-mile in Zion. You know what I'm saying? In Utah. Right. And so I was like, I really kind of want to experience this. I want to be on the team, right? I mean, I wanted on the crew of.
You want a crew for her?
Yeah, I want to be on her crew.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so and I started to think, how can I do this? You know, and so it's already too late to do some certain things. I already told her I had a race on Saturday. I didn't try to organize anything, but I just went on Facebook. I went to the Zion 100 Facebook page, and I was like, hey, is anybody going up there from a ride with a ride to Vegas? I need a ride from Vegas. Is anybody going up there? And one guy hit me up. He said, look, I'm heading up there. Okay, I'm heading up there and on the 6th, and we're coming back on Saturday. And I knew that the 100-miler started on Friday the 7th. Mm-hmm. I thought it started on Friday at 6 a.m., but I thought Friday was the 6th.
Right.
So I thought the guy was picking me up on Friday, right? And so he's like, we're gonna be there on 6 because they're flying into Vegas from the airport and renting a car and then driving there. And so they said, we're gonna get there on the 6th and we're gonna come back on Saturday. And so I'm thinking, like, because they had other races like a marathon and half marathon that are just on Saturday only. Right. So I'm thinking this guy's probably doing the half marathon or something, or the marathon or something like that. And so next thing you know, I'm supposed to work on Friday, right? And so I say, you know what? Instead of working on Friday, I'm gonna work on Thursday, so that way I had it covered. Right. And so then I went out on a run that Thursday with Mountain High Adventures. Big shout out to Mountain High Adventures. That Thursday morning, because I thought I had all day to do my shit. Correct. And then after I got back from kicking it with Mountain High Adventures, I took a shower. I said, you know what? Let me go to work. And boom, boom, boom. I text work. I said, hey, work, I'm on my way down there. I want to come in today because I'm going out of town tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? As soon as I got off the bus at work, I get the text message from the dude. All right, man, we're getting off at the airport. We're about to pick up the rental car.
Oh, snap.
I'm like...
So a day early.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Oh, I'm like, please don't be the 6th. Please don't be the 6th. I look at my phone. It's the 6th. I'm like, no. I'm already at work. And I even texted them and tell them I was coming in because of whatever.
And that, you know what we call that in Espanol? Se durmió. He fell asleep. Oh,
yeah, so I'm like, man, and I gotta go. I already got these people because he already texted me like the day before, like, are you double checking if you want to go with us or not? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And I hate when people like, the day I was like, oh, I changed my mind. No, I can't do it. This came up. I was like, oh. And so I'm like, I do not want to be that person. You know what I'm saying? If I have to get fired so I can go to this thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be this fucking. And plus, it's with the ultra runners, my team, and this other dude, and all this stuff, you know?
Now, that's commitment right there.
Yeah, so.
Sticking to your word.
My bags weren't packed. I didn't have anything packed and everything like that. I told the dude, because it would be quicker for him to get the rental car, pick me up, and go back to the my place to pack. I got to run upstairs and get my bag. Right. You know, I was trying to pack in my head before I got home. I'm going to need this, I'm going to need that. Because I thought maybe, possibly, I'll be a pacer. So I wanted to have my running gear and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? My little bottle. I had to go and throw all this shit in my bag and do all this in a split second. You know what I'm saying? And, so anyhow, we make it out to Utah, you know, we get out there, I get dropped off, you know, and right before I go, I'm walking out the door, and I'm like, I almost grabbed my tent, and I wish I would have anyways, but we camped out there, and, he ended up doing the 100 milers, my teammate Simon, she did the 100 milers, right. And so we were there all day, all weekend. They started at 6 a.m. on Friday, you know, and we rocked with them. We cooked their food, whatever, you know, we helped them out. He had his lady and his auntie. Nice. His lady and his auntie came from Cali. His lady came with him from the East Coast, and they both were his pacing crew, you know, and they're not runners.
They're just there to support them and show them.
But they did the thing. I guess he put together some kind of manual. He said he made little videos for them to watch or something. He cool. Really schooled them because he has a real team crew or whatever, right. Or a main person that does it, but who's pregnant right now, and she couldn't do all this, and so he had to school these two people. And at first I was like, I hope they're able to do what it's good. It's hard. Right. It's late at night. It's cold. It's grimy. It's grumpy. It's dirty. You know, it's crazy. And so I'm like, I hope these ladies are ready. Yeah, but they did their thing, and I was impressed. I was surprised. Like, wow, they are sticking to it. They're dedicated because this guy and Simon kept coming in around the same time. You know what I'm saying? Kyle. Right. You know what I'm saying? Kyle and Simon kept coming in around the same time, give or take. You know what I'm saying? Give or take 30 minutes or so. Him and Kyle kept coming in, so I kept seeing them, and we kept helping them. So anyways, that's the whole Utah thing. I meet everybody on the crew. We kick it with the crew. And Utah was amazing. Nice. You know what I'm saying? Now, around the same time, I really won't go into all the details because all these things are future podcast episodes with these people I'm talking about, pretty much. Okay. But I just want to also, so with Utah, I mean, I think I covered everything. Yeah. I got a ride back afterwards. Right. You know, we stayed there the whole night. I went to the dollar store. I bought a pillow for $4. You know, I got the can of soup that you could pop open with the thing, even though I didn't eat it. But I bought a bunch of snacks at the dollar store. And this was the other thing. It was just... It was intense, man. But the thing was, is I did go on a 13-mile run. I'll show you a clip of that, hopefully, before you go. But I went on a not a 13-mile run. I went on like a 7-mile run. But still, nice. I went on a walk for like, I mean, it could have been 13 miles. So I can't even tell. I was just natural high.
Still no GPS watch, guys.
I was running all over the place, and we didn't have signal up there, so I couldn't do any live streaming. That was the thing. I couldn't do any live streaming. I got Sprint and had no signal. Everybody else had signal except for me. You know.
Can you hear me now? I guess not.
And so I was a little bit disappointed in that because I constantly asked everybody what phone carrier they have because they had some working phones. Right. So anyways, that was Utah. Afterwards, right after the race was over, I kicked it with both of them for a few minutes. But next thing you know, I was whisked away back to Vegas.
Right, you had to come back.
Come back, and yeah, man. So
back to school.
Back to school. You know what I'm saying? Back to work, and everything.
He didn't lose his job, so he was still there. He was still making a little bread to continue to do what he does.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself there, buddy. Because, so we'll find out about that job thing on Monday. But
okay, I guess it did get a little bit of us.
But anyhow, my real job is redefining cannabis in those who use it by way of athletics and academics.
Preach.
You know, it's 420 cross country. We're trying to destigmatize cannabis across the country and help runners consider it as a healthy alternative to alcohol and aspirin for post-race and post-workout recovery.
Nice.
And we're also trying to open their eyes to new forms of it. It's like you don't. A lot of people think you have to smoke it. You don't. While your friends are standing around having their beer, you can stand there and drink your Canna Punch or certain like a drink juice that they have for you.
Right.
You know, they have ice cream. You can eat an edible. You can take a tincture, and you can have a pill. And a lot of these have non-psychoactive effects, so you don't actually get high. You know, and so, anyways, that's what we're all about.
Gotcha.
Wrapping it up, I know we got the slow marathon, but is there anything besides that?
Yeah. You're gonna talk to me about the Georgia Death Race.
Yeah. So quickly, because Avery Collins, I reached out to him. He won. For those who are living under, for those of you who may be living under a rock and not got your pulse on what's going on in 420 running and 420 cross country, Avery Collins, you know, one of the people that inspired this whole effort. He took first place in the Georgia Death Race just a couple weeks back. It's about a 60-some-odd mile, 68-mile race or so, like something like that. And so he smoked that race, and he's been on a number of podcasts since then. He's going to get on this podcast. We just got to work out the phone calling app, which should be no problem. And so we're going to work that out. In addition to that, while we're on the topic of OG, I call him OGAC, OG Avery Collins. And while we're on the topic that, if I'm not mistaken, I'm been led to believe, I believe it's, as I understand it, he is going to be running in the Western States 100, you know, coming up. It's a huge ultra marathon.
Are you going to try to be on that?
I'm going to try. Well, not anybody. You can't just pay some money and just get. You got to be
invited.
You got to be invited. Yeah,
Gotcha.
And there's other ways. I really don't know how it works, but I know it ain't as easy as paying the entry fee. You know, that's not the only thing you got to do. Avery, I think he did get a special invite, and but no, what we're doing. There's another guy like me called Running on Reefer, and he is going to be at an aid station up there. So I asked Avery Collins if I could be on his crew. However, sometimes people already got their crew in place, and sometimes for the pro races, they don't have crews and stuff. Like when we go to France in August, I'm not gonna be able to crew. I'm gonna be there as media, but I'll get into that later.
Nice.
But anyhow, for this one, I'm gonna try to find Running on Reefer, get up with them, and go to that aid station with Running on Reefer and whatever if I'm not on Avery Collins' crew. So that's a bit on OGAC. Now, to the next thing is
let's see.
You were with the slow-mo.
Yeah, we're back to the slow-mo.
Well, first let me just say this with the media coverage, because I want to include you more on the slow-mo. With the media coverage, Vegas Cannabis Magazine, April issue, page 57. Just Google Vegas Cannabis Magazine. Go to their April issue, page 57, to find out, more about the team and all that stuff. We got some cover. Outdoor adventure sport, we already talked about that. The podcasting, we already talked about that. So basically, Vegas Cannabis Magazine, that's the only new point there. And now,
we're actually at the slow.
Kind of wrapping it up here.
Trying to go to
the slow.
Trying to join them out there.
Slow Marathon is a conference out there. It's a running conference. It's happening over the course of 4 days: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On Sunday, they have a marathon. On Saturday, they have a half marathon or some other distances, I believe. And anyhow, I want to be there all 4 days. That was kind of the original plan. Of course, it's a bit costly because there's certain things that you got to have in play there.
But it's definitely worth it. They teach you a lot, from endurance running to weight management to wearing the corrective shoe wear to
the anthropology of the human body,
the anatomy of the runner.
All this stuff, they have one lecture, or not a lecture, like an open discussion type of thing at a vineyard at 5 p.m. on Friday. I was gonna try to even get there, 5 p.m. on Thursday. I was even gonna try to get there a day early, just specifically for this topic. It was like
he wants a little wine.
It was the mental something with running or something, but it was like a discussion.
Nice.
Anyways, I'll probably try to show up on Friday, just due to my budget or whatever. Go there for Friday. Show up on Friday, and go to some of the conference there on Friday and on Saturday, and then on Sunday run the marathon. That's what I'm hoping to do. Slow marathon, and I want to team up with. I need some sponsors to get out there, so a lot of this is contingent upon that.
Okay.
And
so you heard it there, guys. We need sponsors. If you want to sponsor the Vegas 420 runner to go out there to this conference, to want to help you promote your information and also to support what he's trying to do. You know, we're here to help you, but we also need help from you. So it's a win-win situation. We got to help each other. I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of thing.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, man, I'm trying to get out there myself. I got a GoFund page that I created, guys. I'm trying to raise some funds. As you hear, we're the working type. We're out there grinding every day, trying to do everything and trying to put $1 here, $1 there, $1 there. Sometimes we've got to squeeze that dollar and stretch that dollar to make everything possible. But even then, we fall short. But guess what? We don't lose hope, and we continue to do more.
Well said, well said. So basically, just look in the links for the Vegas Cannabis Magazine article and for the Outdoor Adventure Sport article and for that podcast. I want to put them in the links. You know, the podcast we were featured on. I want to put those in the links, man. Okay. I also want to say thank you to Swizzy, Mr. Run2 for, you know, joining me on this podcast and getting me motivated to run. And because you guys know I retired from running. This guy single-handedly brought me back. I retired. That's another podcast episode for another day.
I gotta tell you that story, guys. That's something that you'd be like, what?
I retired, and yeah, so this guy.
But man, like I said, it was a pleasure being out here, talking to you, just talking to Breeze, letting me know what you're doing, what your plans are. I can see you got many things to do, man, and you're hitting the floor running. That's the main thing. Never stopping. Always keep moving forward. And it seems to me that you're sacrificing a lot to better yourself. And that's something that we need to do sometimes, guys. We gotta sacrifice things, let go of certain things to move forward. And those sacrifices, sometimes it's hard to realize that you need to sacrifice something to better yourself. You know, and he's sacrificing some very important things, which I know that's another podcast too. You know, but the main thing is he's out there doing it for him, so he could get out there, spread the message. You know, but thank you for bringing me out here. I can't wait till next time and to be here with another guest. You know, so we could pick their brains and I can learn more about this amazing sport that I love about running.
Yep, thanks, man. So with that, audience, this is the longest podcast I've ever done in my life. Believe it or not, this went way longer, and it's just
luckily I get paid by the second.
It's been an amazing experience. So. Social media right quick. If you want to get up with Swizzy, here's the social media.
Alright, guys, this is my plug. If you guys want to take advantage and you feel that you need motivation to do something, to get off your couch and to go out there and walk, run, whatever you need, check me out on Facebook, Mr. Run2Improve, on Twitter, Mr. Run2Improve, on Instagram, Mr. Run2Improve 702. But other than that, check out my website, www.run2improve.com. We're out there doing it on a daily, guys.
Alright, guys, and you guys already know me, Vegas 420 Runner. You can find me at 420crosscountry.org, redefinedcannabis.com, and all that good stuff. Vegas 420 Runner on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah, get it.
Alright, guys.
Peace. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.